I'm so happy to be back on our second episode of Healthy Marriage. And this time is perimenopause and marriage relationship, that connection, what perimenopause does for the healthy marriage. So, welcome, Lisa. And how are you?
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me back for another one. I love this topic. You know it. It's
Yes. So yeah, this is
so important.
Lisa's request, and we wanted to we wanted to cover today on few topics: how perimenopause reshape energy, emotions, and needs, and how to move through with it. Let me see. I can go live on Instagram as well, and supportive habits that helps balance hormones naturally, why communication becomes even more essential in midlife, how we stay connected, playful, and aligned, and the practice that helps the marriage stay resilient, loving, and even during challenging transition. So both Lisa and me, Kiko, we are perimenopause. So, and I think it's such an important topic to discover. But well, Lisa, I'll let you go first on why you wanted to cover this perimenopause on healthy marriage.
Yeah. So, again, like I said, I love this topic because it's so important. I was reading somewhere, and don't quote me on the percentages, but it was something ridiculously high, like 60% of divorces happen in the perimenopause, menopause age range, right? Because women aren't being heard, and they're not being supported, and men think that it's maybe their fault or there's something wrong, and there's like a total miscommunication, but it's all biology, right? Women are going through stuff, and a lot of women will say something like, I don't feel like myself, like I don't feel like I did in my 30s. And we're going through this hormonal change, which is inevitable. It's something that we all go through if we reach this age. It's a natural thing that women go through. And our estrogen drops, our adrenal glands take over. They create a little bit of estrogen too, but it's like half the amount of what we are used to, right? For the majority of our life, we're like, oh, yeah, we've got the estrogen, we're doing good. But in perimenopause, that's when everything starts to dip and things get crazy hormonally. So it can be really challenging to maneuver through the emotions, the symptoms, and these kinds of things. And I know there's a lot of women who are like, well, I breezed through perimenopause and menopause and I had no symptoms. And that's wonderful.
Mhm.
But there are countless women, even women on raw vegan diets, can experience symptoms because we all experience it differently. And there are ways
Mhm.
to support the body naturally through it. So it's a really important topic because most of us weren't taught this stuff, right? Like, even like I had to ask my mom, I'm like, hey, what was your perimenopause and menopause like? Because she never talked to me. It wasn't something that she was taught to teach her daughter. And
Mhm.
I felt like a little lost. I'm like, I don't know where to go for this support in this stage of my life. And it's not like I have tons of symptoms, but I understand that I need to support my body through this. And I would say, like, if I were to have any symptoms that are of note, would probably be just that I need extra added support to deal with stress, because as your estrogen goes down, your
Mhm.
adrenal glands are taking over, and your adrenal glands deal with stress. So if
Mhm.
your life is very stressful and your adrenal glands are like, well, I have to make estrogen now too, and they're like,
Mhm.
it struggles to do that. So I feel like I need a little extra support for any stress in my life. And we can talk about
Mhm.
that in a bit when it's supportive habits. But yeah, that's why I want to talk about this more, because I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of women are suffering in
Mhm.
silence, and a lot of men don't even know what to do. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. I love your passion, and it really makes sense. For myself, I moved in early 40s. I moved to Paris, and I was diagnosed as having an adenomyosis, which is like similar to endometriosis, and with this hormonal change and this new diagnosis that I was dealing with, I remember the relationship with my husband was difficult. Like our relationship was always good, excellent, but I know that my hormone going crazy, and my husband was also confused, right?
Mhm.
And so the hormonal change, and also what my case was a bit different because of that diagnosis. But it also makes sense that we go through puberty in teenager, right? And this is like end of this, it's a different kind of hormonal change, and it makes sense that we need to understand and need you know some supports and look for supports and understand. Once we understand this, that our body just goes through the difference. Puberty was hard on us, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense to kind of close it properly, if that makes sense.
No, that does. Yeah, that's so true. Again, like you said, we went through a lot in puberty, and
Mhm.
we need the support through our other change, which is coming. And the thing is, with the change that's coming, like the average age, it depends on what country and what nationality you are, but the average range here in the West is about 51. That's the average age. Now, again, different cultures and different countries are going to have different ages, but that's usually the average is 51 to maybe 52. So perimenopause is 7 to 10 years
Mhm.
before menopause happens. So menopause, how they define menopause is that you have not had a period for one full calendar year, and then
Mhm.
you're technically in menopause. But there's that whole decade before you get there that is
Mhm.
turbulent. And and things can start slowly. Like I've seen some women who are 40 or 37 or whatever, and they're like, I'm
Mhm.
doing great, I don't have any symptoms. And I
Mhm.
felt the same way when I was 40. I was like, this is
Mhm.
going to be a breeze. But you don't know it until you're in it, right? So
Right.
you can't assume that you're not going to have any symptoms whatsoever. Even if you're a raw vegan,
Mhm.
even if you exercise, you can still have symptoms because of the biological fact that you're making less estrogen. And that's just how it is. So
Mhm.
everyone's going to react to that fact a little different. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's for me when I understood that, even though we feel great, and raw vegan diet definitely helps to, make
Oh,
you
yeah.
feel great, energetic, happy. But we could also miss that sign that, it's just, human being, when we age, the estrogen, progesterone, it's the level changes. So
Right.
it I think it's we can gracefully invite the different state of our life
Hmm.
by understanding a little more.
Yes, exactly. I was seeing some in the chat here. There's a bunch of stuff.
Hi,
Rocky,
ladies.
yeah,
Okay,
Rocky.
right.
For me, my PMS during perimenopause is worse than when I was younger, and this can be true for many people too. What they say is, I've
Mhm.
heard this from multiple people, like doctors will say, what you usually experience for PMS during your regular years is 10 times more during perimenopause or menopause. So if you're really moody, usually during
Mhm.
the period, you're going to be extra moody in perimenopause. If you have cramps, in regular periods, you're going to have more cramps. So everything is kind of like accentuated
Huh.
in perimenopause for some people. Again, this is not a blanket statement. Some women don't experience
Mhm.
anything. and others do, regardless of diet. Of course, diet makes a big difference. I'm not saying that it doesn't,
Yeah,
but
that makes sense. Yeah, it's for me as well. In 20s and teenager, and even yeah, it I never had PMS. Like I never understood, what PMS is until like like maybe 30s.
mhm.
Yeah, and then 40s. But my case is a little more complicated because I moved so many places in the world, so that might have affected. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I also want to mention too, because I do get this a lot where people will say you're not supposed to feel anything, right? And then that puts a blanket statement on
Yeah,
every human being. And health is not black and white.
true.
Everyone's gonna
Mm,
have, and it depends on your environment, your stress levels, your sleep, your
mm,
exercise. And yes, diet plays a massive role and it can
mm,
really alleviate a lot of symptoms. But when we put a blanket statement that says everybody should go through it perfectly fine if you follow
true.
a perfect diet, it just isn't that simple to just give that blanket statement. Oh, if you eat, all fruit, or you're on raw, then you shouldn't have any symptoms. But that is really, it kind of breaks my heart to hear when people say that, because there's women out there that I've spoken with personally who follow a raw vegan diet, who eat very clean and they exercise and everything, and they're still having symptoms. And they're like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, maybe you're not doing anything wrong. Maybe you need to just support your body through it and accept, that you're feeling these things and it's normal and natural, and not to feel bad, right? Because
Mm,
so many people are made to feel bad
mm,
because they're
mm,
not perfect enough, or they still have symptoms or what have you. And I always say to myself, like, if I ever feel something strange or whatever,
mm,
I'll tell myself, where would I be, or how would I be feeling if I wasn't raw? Like, if
mm.
I was eating the standard North American diet, if I was drinking alcohol, if I was eating processed foods,
Yeah,
I would feel a lot worse probably than
true.
how I am now. So I'm grateful for even feeling what
Mm,
I feel instead of expecting to be perfect, because that puts a lot of stress on. And if you're already dealing with a lot of stress in your life, adding that perfectionism on, or I have to have no
mm.
symptoms, like, what am I doing wrong? That can put a lot of extra added unnecessary stress on ourselves.
Lisa, thank you so much for sharing that. I love you
I love
because
you.
you're amazing because you feel great, and it means a lot that you say this, because you have been feeling great with on this diet, but
Yeah.
you're very understanding, and you have been coaching people so you understand where they're coming from. I have shared this a lot. I almost died last year, believing that everything should be perfect, as long as you do the perfect diet, right? I have pushed myself on water fast and juice fast, and I just felt miserable on that. So I like to share, I, you know, it's my diet hasn't been a perfect path, and it's good. It's all learning. And just like you said, um, even though I I thought that everything would be perfect with this raw vegan diet, but it wasn't. And I started to blame myself, right? Like, oh, maybe I didn't do it perfectly. Um, but yeah, it means so much that you say this, Lisa. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I feel like, I want to say it's like my mission, but I feel like it's not talked enough about, because
Mm,
perfectionism is shared so confidently online on social media, and
mm,
it's clickbait, right? Like, you say, and I made a video about this that's coming out on my YouTube soon. It's about red flags.
great.
Yeah, it's called Red Flags in the Wellness Industry. And it's
Oh,
not
great.
raw vegan, it's not just raw vegan, it's vegan, it's other diets and fitness stuff and whatever. People like to use absolutes and guarantees to sell their ideas, their
Yeah.
concepts, their protocols, their supplements, or whatever, right? And even just you and I talking to each other, right? We sell ideas to each other, like, you should try this thing, or you should blah, blah,
Mhm.
like, maybe this would help. Like, we do that naturally as human beings. We sell our ideas. just by talking with each other. It's just a natural thing that we do as humans. But when we start to use absolutes and guarantees, that's a huge red flag to me.
Huge. Yes.
Yeah. People are like, if you do this, you'll never get sick again. If you eat this, you'll never get Alzheimer's. And if you do this, you'll be blah, blah, blah. Or like, this is the cure to everything. Or if you have this, do this, and this will happen to you. Like, these guarantees are so dangerous, and they set people up for possible unmet expectations. And I'm not saying that, this things don't happen, because people will be like, I lost 70 pounds. And, you could try it too. But telling somebody that you will lose the weight, or you will never get sick again. I mean, those are big words to use. And it would be better to say something like, you'll be less likely to get sick, or you may have less symptoms. And I think another thing that people get mixed up is the word prevention. They think the word prevention means never get, but it doesn't. It means lessen your chances of getting. So when people hear, oh, if I do this, I will prevent Alzheimer's, in their mind, they're thinking they're never going to get it. But that might not be true. Maybe prevention just means lessen your chances of getting. Maybe you don't get it. Maybe it takes an extra 10 or 20 years to show up. But it's prevention means lessen your chances of. Because this is what Chef AJ likes to say. She'll say, eating a healthy diet is like putting on a seatbelt in the car. It doesn't stop an accident from happening, but it can protect you if one happens, right? You can still get hurt, right? You'll still, you can still experience trauma. You can still have symptoms or what have you. But I think that's another thing that people, they get mixed up with that, because on social media, it's all about clickbait and getting people like, oh, never get sick again. And you're like attracted to that because you don't ever want to get sick again. But yeah, the absolutes, I feel like it's an important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions here.
For
Maybe
sure.
we can cover, what do you take that helps with stress, like natural things?
Okay. Yeah.
You have a lot to share, I know.
Yes, I do. I love that this question was asked. Thank you, Rocky, Wright, and friends for asking that. That would be our next point that we're going to talk about here, supporting habits that help balance hormones naturally, but also stress, because stress is a hormonal reaction. When we are stressed out, our body produces hormones like cortisol and adrenaline and all this stuff. So some things that really help and that have helped me as well that you could possibly look into. Like I said, it's not a guarantee, but it's a nice route to go investigate. But supportive herbs for stress, like ashwagandha, rhodiola, shatavari, eleuthero, which is Siberian ginseng. There's some other ones as well, but these are 4 that I really like. And I actually started taking these herbs during the spring, summer. I came out of like a burnout. And this is really where I realized that I can't handle the same amount of stress that I used to. And it's not a bad thing. Like, people feel like, oh, well, you need to be more perfect or whatever. It's like, I'm accepting that that is how it is. And
interesting.
Instead of trying to be more perfect so I can handle all this stress, right? It's like, nah, I'm just going to roll with it. But I wanted some support. And then when Nate was in the hospital with his dental problems and the dentist cracked his tooth and he got an abscess and he had to have surgery.
Yeah, scary.
It was scary. And it was a really stressful summer. So I started taking those herbs. It's a hormonal product. And I can't remember the brand because I just empty it into my thing. But it really helped me to feel a little bit less anxiety. Just in like average, the anxiety just of like, oh my gosh, what's going on, right? Because diet doesn't take away life stress. Diet helps you through it, and herbs help you through it. But it doesn't take away the stress itself. Like it didn't, eating a raw diet didn't, prevent boatloads of work that I put on myself, right? Like that was a choice that I took on. And It doesn't take away a possible car accident or whatever. Like the stress that you go through with life, like life likes to throw more life at us. And we have to support ourselves through it. So the herbs were really helpful for me. Sleeping is key. Getting your sleep on point is so
Yeah, so
incredibly important.
important.
I would say, like, this is what I learned from Rosalind Graham, Dr. Doug Graham's wife. She was doing this presentation. She was talking about the wheel of health. So you've got all these spokes. You know how a wheel has spokes, and they're all the same length to make it circle, so it rolls properly, right? But there's so many people who are hyper focused on one spoke, diet. They're like so hyper focused on diet that they lack their sleep. They don't get enough exercise. Maybe they don't spend enough time in nature or whatever. Or you get other people who are hyper focused on exercise, or they're hyper focused on their spirituality, but they don't care about their diet. So like you have to put equal energy into all of these aspects of your health, right? All of this hydration, passion, relationships, everything has to be equal in order for it to be a circle, so the wheel can run. Otherwise, you've got a wheel that's like this, and it's not going to roll very well. But she would say like one of the spokes was sleep, but I actually think sleep is the hub that holds all the spokes together. So without quality sleep, you can be eating the best diet, you can be exercising, you can be whatever, but if you are not sleeping properly, you can't clear your brain. It's basically, someone said it online. They were like, it's brainwashing because you're actually washing your brain when you sleep. Because the only thing that clears the lymphatic system in your brain, which is like the lymphatic system, but it's enclosed in your brain. The only thing that clears out your lymphatic system is sleep. So no diet's going to do it. Exercise isn't going to do it. Hydration isn't going to do it. They all help. But sleep is what gets that washed. Like we want to give our brains a shower every night, and we need to sleep 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And there's a lot of raw foodies. When I first started raw, like in 2014, when I went committed full time, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, well, when you're raw, when you eat high fruit or whatever, you don't need to sleep very much. You only sleep 4 hours. And when I learned about how important sleep is, I was like, no, I won't have nothing to do with that, because there's studies, the research, doesn't matter your diet. If you're sleeping less than 6 hours a night, you are at higher risk for dementia and Alzheimer's and all kinds of other issues too.
Yeah, so, I remember because I started my raw vegan journey over 21 years ago, and that was the time people said that, oh, I eat so clean that I only need 2-3 hours. And it's like, you're getting like a medal, like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, my body is so clean. And it's like you're praised for it. And that's another red flag.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. And this also, you have covered this already. I saw a TikTok video that was saying peri-menopause was not supposed to be difficult. And the issue was HTA axis. Have you heard that? And
talking about maybe HPA, I'm not sure.
HPA axis.
The thing is, yes, TikTok. That's another. It's like social media has to be taken with a grain of salt. Even our conversation, everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. And do more research. Always do your due diligence, because someone could say it on TikTok. But another thing that we have to keep in mind is there's a lot of people who, again, are trying to sell a belief, trying to scare you into doing something that they think is going to be helpful for you. And so they use a fear tactic, like, oh, it's not supposed to happen. So if you have symptoms, then you're wrong, or you're doing something bad, or it's not natural for humans to go through this, or what have you. These kinds of things create fear inside the person who's watching it, who's like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't have to feel this. Like, why am I feeling this? And then they get into a state of anxiety or pressure to do something. And I like when people say like, oh, we shouldn't experience, like perimenopause wasn't supposed to be difficult. I can resonate with that a little bit. Like, I don't think that it's supposed to be as hard as many women experience it, because a lot of women who are experiencing lots of problems, more than they probably should are usually drinking a lot of alcohol. They're not going to bed on time. They're not exercising properly. Their diet is horrible. Like all of these factors definitely play a role in how you
Mhm.
experience perimenopause. But I don't think that blanket statement saying that everyone's going to go through
Yeah.
it super easy is wise for, you know, a TikToker to say. But to offer options for people to help lessen their symptoms, I think is a more integrative approach, because not everyone's going to experience the exact same thing that
Mhm.
someone on TikTok might be experiencing. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And we have to be patient on our diet as well, because, you might be drinking and eating processed food and, being in a toxic relationship. And then, you know, if you have been doing this for some certain period of time, you have to be very patient for you to move up to your healthier you, right?
exactly,
So,
exactly. Yeah, Rocky said older generations in my family breezed through perimenopause and menopause with no hormone replacement or anything, but I struggle. And it's okay, again, not to feel stressed that you have to be like your ancestors or who experienced those things. But work with your body, work with how
mhm.
you're feeling. And if you need support, take the support. That's another thing that I feel like in the raw community, people are like, they're like, you shouldn't have to take anything, like no herbs or
Yeah.
anything like that, or don't take anything.
Mhm.
It's like, well, I'm suffering. I don't want to suffer just to fit inside a box of what
Mhm.
someone believes that I should be in. Like, oh, I shouldn't take rhodiola herb or what have you. But if you take it
Mhm.
and it enhances your life and it makes you feel better and you can actually enjoy your life, then why wouldn't we take it? Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's sad that people are forced to suffer in order to stay in a box that someone else created.
Yeah, I can definitely add into that because, as I said, I have lost so much blood due to adenomyosis, and I have been pushing myself on water fast, juice fast, because they guaranteed,
Right.
right, that those gurus, the red flag gurus, said
Mm.
I can guarantee you, Kiko, you pay this amount and you stay with me. You do exactly what I said, and you'll be cured. And yeah, that doesn't work. And I've done the best I can. And I didn't want to take any Western medicine. And that caused me to come to near this experience last year. And after that, I said, I'm not going to play with this anymore. And I'm now taking a pill to mimic menopause.
Mhm.
So I'm not having any period, because my body is still producing a lot of estrogen
Mm.
that caused me to, you know, they want to produce more and more. So yeah, and so I'm taking that pill, and I'm also taking a pill to. No, I actually stopped taking it. But, I'm taking Chinese medicine because
Mhm.
it's widely available here. I had a skin flare up due to hormonal change, so that was something that you know, I did not want to take at all before, but my quality of life has improved so much thanks to that. And I'm hoping to get off of those medicine soon. But meanwhile, I'm doing, I'm having a blast of my life.
Mm.
I'm 51. I just turned 51, and I have so much energy. I wake up with, and happiness, and it's like people are always asking me, like, where do you get this energy? And definitely raw vegan is helping, but with the help of Western medicine for a certain period of time, I'm really grateful for that.
Mhm. Exactly. I know. I'm glad you brought that up, and thank you for being transparent.
Mhm.
Because I feel like it helps to give other women permission to
Yes.
explore other options without having to be forced into a belief or feeling bad about having to do something that could make their life better. Right. And yeah, it's just really sad to see, because there's so many people who like they don't take the options that they could have out of fear. So then they still remain suffering. And it's really sad to see, because this is, I mean, why we're talking about this is for relationships and healthy marriages. And when you don't feel good in your body, that reflects in all different areas of your life, your work, your relationships, even like your personal passions and stuff like that. Everything seems so much more heavy when you don't feel good. So, the goal is to feel good, and then, communicating with your partner, which we can talk about next, why communication becomes more essential. But yeah, let's see. Do we have any other questions coming in late? People conflating heal and cure. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, is like people using the words cure and heal and 100% and never and guarantees. Healing is a long process, and not everybody heals 100% completely. It's always like just gentle improvements, or for some people, maybe it's just staying the same, right? Like I was talking to somebody earlier today in direct messages, and she has a condition that is genetic, which, there's no guarantee that she can cure that, but she can support her body the best that she can with this condition. And hopefully she can have a wonderful life, even though she has this specific condition. And it's just really hard when, like you said, when people are like giving you a guarantee, like this is going to do it. And you're like, and then you come out of it and, there's other things that are worse now because you did the protocol, and you're like, well, I don't feel like I got there. And then they're like, well, you got to do it again, so it's just really challenging. We got Rocky saying, yeah, nervous system regulation can help me more with stress than anything else. That's so true. Sleep I struggle with to a degree. When do you go to sleep and wake up? Oh, I'll love to answer that one. For sleep, so Nate and I strive to go to bed around 9 o'clock. So what we have...
Wow. Living in Las Vegas.
Well, I know, right? On Fremont Street. Like, it's pretty loud on the weekends. It's going to be loud tonight.
Love it.
There's lots of partying going on. But what we do is we have an alarm in our phones, and it goes off at 7 o'clock. So at 7 o'clock... And we don't do this every night, but like last night, Nate took me to a concert. So, we kind of didn't do that. Yeah. For my birthday. But
happy birthday again.
Thank you. So, but usually when we're in a routine, and for the most part at 7 o'clock, that's when we start our evening routine. So Nate bought like a massage table. So we'll do massages, just like leg massages, foot massages, whatever, neck, whatever, feeling like it needs a little love. And it's like 10 minutes per person, which is one of the best connection times. Speaking of marriages, this is an amazing thing to do, right? Like grab yourself a massage table or just use the bed. Doesn't matter. Get a really nice oil and massage your partner, even if it's just their feet. Give your partner 10 minutes of loving touch. And then switch off. And you can do it like, one night I'll go first and Nate will go second. And the next night Nate goes first and I go second. So we kind of each get that. But we'll do that at 7 o'clock, 10 minutes each. Then at around 7:30, we're like all like zenned out and like kind of like wobbly or whatever. We'll usually get stuff ready for the next day. If we have to soak some cashews or get something sprouting or whatever, we'll do like little things like that. Fill our waters for the next day, for our backpacks, for our walk or whatever. But we'll just like tidy up loose ends. And then at around like 7:45-ish, that's when I like to do my skincare routine, brush our teeth, skincare routine, all of that stuff. And then at 8:15, we put on a yin yoga or a restorative yoga for 45 minutes, half hour to 45 minutes. And we stretch. I like to do it in bed. Nate does it on the floor. But we just do the yin yoga restorative because you hold the poses for so long, you can really deepen into the practice and it gets you really relaxed. And then as soon as we're done, we're laying in shavasana and it's lights out, fall asleep. So that is our...
wow.
The yin yoga helps me so much. I usually take about anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes to fall asleep every night if I don't do yoga. But if I do 45 minutes of yoga before bed, I fall asleep within 5 minutes.
Wow.
Given my brain a chance to deal with all the thoughts and calm down and just find a really deep parasympathetic state where then when I'm laying in Shavasana, I just fall asleep. Like I don't even think about much because my brain's already had that chance to
Mm.
calm down. So it's really helpful if anyone needs help with sleep. And another thing too, a lot of people will say, well, I go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning most times. How do I go to bed at 9 o'clock? And I'm like, well, you don't want to jump from 1
Yeah.
a.m. to 9 p.m. You're going to have a really hard time. It's like jet lag. Like who
Mm.
wants jet lag, right? You're not going to do that. So what you're going to do if you have issues with that, say you go to bed at 1 o'clock, usually the next night, go to bed at 12:45. Then the next night, go to bed at 12:30. Then the next night, go to bed at 12:15. The next night, go to bed at midnight. The next night, 11:45. The next night, 11:30. So every night you're moving your bedtime back. It could even be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But as long as you're progressively moving your bedtime back in slower amounts, then eventually you'll get to 9 o'clock and it won't be a dramatic change. And that's what we like to do if we're going on a trip that's outside of our time zone.
Mm.
We will, like about a week before the trip, we naturally lower our bedtime or increase our bedtime to slowly get our bodies prepped for the time change. So then when we actually get there, it's not that big of a difference. But it takes planning, it takes consistency, it takes alarms in your phone to remind you. But those can help. So I just thought to share that.
Yeah, that's great, and I love your routine. That's so beautiful.
It is.
I also want to share my tip of falling asleep very fast. Generally speaking, I fall asleep right away, but sometimes when I'm too excited, it takes time for me to fall asleep.
Mhm.
And this is what the Zen monk taught me. This is how you do the Zen meditation. And so you close your eyes and you breathe in and breathe out very slowly. So you breathe in from your nose, and when you breathe out, you count. So you count from first to 10. So
Mhm.
when you exhale from your mouth, you do first. So you count in your in your head. So first you exhale first. You go very very slowly, and you inhale from your nose, and you do second,
Mm.
and you do it very very slowly. And usually I fall asleep without counting third.
That's
it's
awesome.
it's very fast, and it's very soothing. And I do the guiding meditation with monk.
Mhm.
And I did it just 2 days ago with my client, and my client says she just loved it. She said, "Oh, I just zoned out." And we did 10 minutes meditation, and two clients they said, "Oh, I thought it was less than 5 minutes." It just time goes very fast, and let your mind calm down very quickly. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
I love
you don't have to do any pose. You can just do it on your bed. So
that. Mm.
yeah, I hope that helps for some people to go to sleep
Yes,
faster.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, Rocky says, glad you spoke about lymphatic system. It's really important. So true. And these two are kind of combined a little bit. Supplements and herbs are some of the most confusing things I find with the raw community, especially right now. There's a lot of talk about that. And then they say, have you changed your diet at all with to support perimenopause, which I'll share a couple things that I've added. But yeah, the supplements and herbs, again, they're trying to fit you into their box, right? And it's like, if a supplement is going to help you, and if it has helped you, that's your story. And no one can take that away, right? Because I know so many people who take something and their life is improved because of it. So taking that away from them dismisses their experience, dismisses the fact that this was helpful for them. And a long time ago, when I was working at the health food store, my boss got really mad, not mad, but like irritated with one of the employees who was telling people not to take specific things because they weren't, supported by science or whatever. Anyways, our boss took us all aside and was like, if something is helping somebody, if they're taking vitamin C and for some reason it's helping them with whatever, even though you don't think it will, or you don't believe in it or whatever, if it's helping them, let them take it. Because that's the whole point, is like we want to help people alleviate symptoms and be nourished and deal with stress and all of these things. And when we're feared into not taking it, we continue to suffer. And actually, things can get worse if we don't intervene and do something different, maybe taking an herb or what have you, or a supplement that can help you. Like, why? Why would we abandon ourselves in order to fit in someone's box of what they believe to be true? If they believe it's to be true, then whatever, they can believe it. But if you are having symptoms and you're following that and you want to stay in their box and your symptoms get worse, you got to do something about that. You can't live in someone else's box.
Yeah.
Their reality is.
And blood check, I do it often, at least once a year. And I would like to share my experience, again, being very transparent. So I was I work as an interpreter and guide, and I had a very stressful time in October. And this was traveling away from home for a week or two. And it was very, very intense and stressful. And I started to feel the eye twitch after this trip. And it didn't happen right away. It took me maybe a week or so. There were two symptoms, some eye twitching like this.
Mhm.
And then my husband had it when he was going through a very stressful time years ago. And then the doctor said that, maybe it's lack of magnesium. So I was sure that it was magnesium, because when you're really stressed, magnesium is depleted. So I
Yes,
started to
very
add a lot.
quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
started to take a lot of magnesium, but eye twitching didn't go away. I mean, it does take time, a week or two, to
Mhm.
have that effect. So it's important that you're mindful, not when, after the stress. And then I had a blood test because I just wanted to make sure what was lacking, that's doing eye twitching. And it wasn't actually magnesium that was causing. I actually had excess amount of magnesium because I was taking too much. You know,
Yeah.
it was B12.
B12.
B12 is so important, and I had been on a plant based for almost 30 years, mostly plant based for almost 30 years, and mostly vegan for the last 20 years. And I've done blood tests, but B12 was never an issue until just a few weeks ago.
Right.
And it could have been the stress or whatever. But so I'm now taking B12. It's super important, right? I'm sure you have the story to share. Another symptom I had was the cyst in my gum.
Mm.
This is a symptom that comes out, let's say, when I eat out, because I was on a trip and I couldn't get much raw vegan foods. So I had one or two outings in a restaurant, vegan, clean vegan diet, but uh, I am not, my body doesn't do well on the cooked food, in a restaurant food, right? So I started to have a cyst here, and thankfully it's gone now. But it takes time. It took me 3 to 4 weeks for those eye twitching to go away, and then the cyst to go away with clean raw vegan diet. So I wanted to share that. And
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know lots of people who,
B12.
oh my gosh, like it changes their life for some people. Especially, I have a friend who's vegan here in Southern Nevada, and she can't go without her B12 shots. Otherwise, she gets severe migraines through her menopause. So, like telling somebody not to do something that actually helps them, right, I think is dangerous.
Yeah.
I want to answer this one here, who is asking about, have you changed your diet at all to support perimenopause? Something I'd like to share really quickly is for the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle that's coming in 2026. I'm going to be creating a perimenopause supportive raw food book, talking
Oh.
about a lot of the foods that I have personally added to support my body through perimenopause. And some of the things that I've added that I'm doing is the top two, I would say, are fenugreek sprouts. So fenugreek seeds sprouted. I eat at least I try to eat anywhere between half a cup to 1 cup of fenugreek sprouts a day in salads. It tastes kind of like maple and celery mixed together. I really love them. And then raw maca powder. Raw maca powder you can buy, and just add it to your smoothies or drink it in water or whatever. But it's raw maca root that's just ground up into a powder. So just add water to it and take that, because it is really helpful for balancing the hormones. Lots more ferments. Fermented foods are really good for the microbiome, because the microbiome is, it's where everything starts, really, I believe, anyways. And having a really healthy, strong microbiome is really healthy for hormones. And then also doing a lot more bitters, a lot more sulfur-rich vegetables like onions and garlic, which I already do a lot of. But the sulfur is essential for collagen production, for keeping your skin really healthy. So sulfur-rich veggies like onions, garlic, and cruciferous are really good, but also supporting the liver with bitters and cruciferous vegetables and sulfur-rich things help as well, because the liver is detoxing your hormones. Like your estrogen goes through your liver. And if you're not supporting your liver's going to struggle through that. And that's where a lot of people will experience, even PMS symptoms, or the perimenopause can be worse symptoms if their liver isn't supported. So dandelion greens of all kinds, really. And then, yes, the cruciferous vegetables and the sulfur-rich onion and garlic, they provide everything your body needs to make glutathione, which is essential for the phase 2 of liver detox, which most people don't support. And then they get all these detox symptoms and they wonder why they have detox symptoms, or they feel like, oh, if I have more detox symptoms, that means I'm detoxing. It's like, if you have detox symptoms, you're likely not supporting phase 2, because phase 2 is what inactivates those hyperreactive particles or chemicals or molecules, because you've got phase 1 and phase 2. So in phase 1, your body takes the chemical or toxin or whatever it is and converts it into a really reactive, a hyper-reactive, almost more dangerous than the actual chemical itself. So this process makes it extra reactive. The phase 2 takes it and inactivates it into something water soluble that you can pull out of your body. But most people aren't supporting phase 2. So they're getting a lot of this like hyper-reactive, conversion going, but they're not getting enough inactivating going on, because they're not eating cruciferous, they're not supporting their body, they don't get enough sulfur-rich foods in to support this detox pathway, and that clogs up the liver, and then you feel like, ugh. So yeah, supporting the liver with dandelion greens, more berries. Nate and I have been eating a lot more berries, lots more cranberries, because this time of year we like to buy bags and bags and bags and bags and bags of cranberries, because it's fresh here in the western side of the world because of Christmas and everything. So we get a lot of cranberries this time of year.
You get them fresh?
Yeah, fresh cranberries.
Wow.
For Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's so easy, and they're cheap. You can get big giant bags for like $3. So we buy a huge amount of cranberries fresh, and we just throw them in the freezer. So they don't go through the pasteurization or the blanching process. They just go directly into our freezer. And we have cranberries for the rest of the year, because I like to have cranberries in my smoothies. They're so good. But we're eating a lot more like wild blueberries, a lot more berries than we used to. We're adding those to our smoothies every single day. As you saw my smoothie here, there was a wild blueberries in there too.
Beautiful.
Because of the polyphenols and antioxidants and things like that. Like, we want to try to lower our oxidative stress as much as we possibly can. So there's omega-3. Omega-3 is so important. Like chia flax, hemp and walnut are decent sources, but chia and flax should be like stars of the show in every single day, having those in there and lowering the amount of omega-6s that we eat because they're so easy to
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're the tasty ones, but we got to lower that a little bit and add more omega-3 because that's going to really help with hormone function and obviously skin health and all that stuff. So those are a few of the changes. But again, I'm going to be writing this recipe book, including a lot of peri-menopause, supportive meals that you can do as a raw vegan. So that'll be coming in May.
Oh, I can't wait. The maca powder, thanks to you, I started to include what you have mentioned. And maca powder, I added on my cinnamon roll. And I'm thinking of putting that recipe in my coming up book in 2026. Yeah. And yeah, maca powder, when I was living in Costa Rica, everyone said this is like a natural Viagra, right? It supports our hormone for both women and men.
Yeah.
And I serve it in my cafe. I have a weekly raw vegan cafe here in Kyoto. And a lot of people love it. They said, "Oh, I feel so warm from inside," and it's a perfect time because it's cold now in Kyoto, and they said, "Oh, I feel so happy with this," And my husband noticed that as well. They like the sprinkle of maca powder on the cinnamon roll. So yeah, definitely, it's a happy hormonal supports.
I love that. I love that. Yes, yes. What else we got here? Oh, Rocky's asking, I'm going to try the yin yoga. Any channel recommendations? Nate and I follow someone called Devi Daily, DeviDaly. Devi Daily Yoga. Devi Daily Yoga. She's really awesome. She does yin and restorative, and we follow the ones with the bolster because I feel like I can get deeper stretches with the bolster. So those are the ones that we do. But there's lots out there too.
Yeah, I just shared on the comment on the Devi Daily Yoga.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, yes. Rocky says, I personally don't think supplements or herbs are bad. I think both have their place. Yes. And they do respect some gurus that don't support taking them. But yeah, the one thing that I have an issue with is that the fear that they promote, right? If someone doesn't take the supplements, that's fine. If you don't need them, don't take them. But don't tell other people not to take them when they need them. I think that's, a little dangerous, but yeah. Yeah, saying B12 and D3 are toxic. It's wild. I heard about the D3 as well. Crispy Cancer made a post about the D3. And he was talking about how there's studies that show clearly that it's helpful. And yeah, when somebody labels something as toxic, that's a very dangerous language because things that are toxic are toxic, like bleach. You don't want to eat bleach, or you don't want to eat certain things that are actually toxic for you, like belladonna berries, for example. If you eat I think it's 3 to 5 belladonna berries, you can die. They're fatal nightshades. So, there's some things that are actually labeled toxic, but, for someone who it's helping and, it's taking away their migraines that prevent them from working, that prevent them from having a healthy relationship, that prevent them from living their best life, that's where I kind of draw the line. It's
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And stress strips so much nutrition, and we live in such a stressful world. Like Rocky said, I think stress strips B12. It strips magnesium. It uses so much nutrients.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. Digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes can be helpful for some people, but I think the best thing that you can do, if you need them, try them or what have you. Again, there's no shame in taking it if it helps you. But the main goal is to grow your own microbiome. Yeah. Chew your food thoroughly. This is the easiest. It's free. It's free to do, but chew your food more thoroughly because you expose more surface area for your bacteria to work on the food. If you're not chewing your food thoroughly, then big chunks are going to sit there and ferment. And, it's not the most ideal situation. So chewing your food really well can really help. And then just building your microbiome over time can be more beneficial than always relying on taking the enzymes. I know there's some people out there who take like tons of enzymes, and all the power to them if that's what they want to do. But Nate and I have worked on building our microbiomes to the state that we have like really super strong microbiomes, and chewing our food is one of the top things, and fiber variety, having a lot of different variety to feed the different species, because we have, usually a human should have around 1,000 or more different species of bacteria in their colon, but most people walking around probably have maybe like 700 or less. So they have like a lot less diversity, which isn't as ideal. But yeah, more diversity in the fiber that you eat gives you more diversity in the bacteria you have in your colon, which in turn helps your digestion. But yeah, taking some digestive herbs.
Definitely. And, I want to mention that Lissa has done an amazing analysis on my microbiome, which I have done like years ago. And I would like to do it again, but I don't know if you do still do that consultation on microbiome.
If somebody wants to have me look over it, yeah, we could set something up. Because it does take time for me to go through that. So if somebody wanted to, they could message me and we can go over that for a small fee or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you did such an amazing job, because when I did it, it's just it's very difficult to understand unless we have someone like you to explain. Because I was like, this doesn't make sense, and they were suggesting things like animal-based products. And it just didn't make sense. So it was just, that test was just lying. I paid a lot here in Japan to do that test, the microbiome test, and it was just this laying for years or so. And when Lissa analyzed it, it was a complete eye-opening. It was like, wow. And what's great about Lissa's consultation is that she's very, very passionate, as you can see, and she's a good way geek on learning this. So I love your leading. So if anyone is interested and is struggling with that gut microbiome, the healthy microbiome, gut health, definitely reach out to Lissa.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that you said that. I love being a gut nerd. I love it. It's so fascinating, and it's only been the last, I would say 5 to 10 years that we've really started to learn more about the microbiome. Because before it was just like, oh, take probiotics. Because when I first was working at the health food store, it was probiotics, like sell probiotics. People need probiotics, but they don't need probiotics. They need to eat fiber, fiber variety. Because now the studies that are coming out now are showing that taking probiotics doesn't actually change your microbiome the same way as eating fiber and fermented foods do. Fiber and fermented foods change so much. And Nate actually just had his microbiome test done after his 1 month round of antibiotics and being in the hospital and having surgery and stress and everything. And he's going to make a video about it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, but his microbiome changed dramatically.
I bet.
Yeah. So he is going to be working. He's not taking probiotics because, again, studies show that people who take probiotics after a round of antibiotics don't bounce back the same way as people who are eating a high variety of fiber in their diet and fermented foods. These people bounce back very quickly when they're doing that. But the people who take probiotics, it's almost like you're flooding your body with a few strains of bacteria, and there's too much of them in there for your own bacteria to start growing back. So it's kind of like suppressing your own natural growth. And they can be helpful for some people if you need a little extra bonus or you find that they are helpful to do that. But if you're going to do a microbiome test, you should stop taking any probiotics about a week or two ideally, but a week or two before you take your test. Because if you take your test while taking the probiotics, they're going to show up in your stool and it's going to skew your natural microbiome. So it's not an actual accurate test if you are taking probiotics. So you want to stop taking those for at least a week or two.
That's great. I mean, it could be expensive as well, taking that probiotics. And it's excellent that we can support our health with this what nature provides us the fiber. Eat lots
Exactly.
of fruits
Fiber
and get.
is best. Yeah. Oh, Apple is saying, I truly appreciate the two of you and how you break this all down and push back against the propaganda.
Yeah.
We're just sharing. I've been like, Kiko's been around for a long time doing this, and I've been in the natural health industry since 2001. So, I started learning when I was 19. So over 25 years, I've been learning about natural health, and I've seen a lot over the last, and you have too. And it's just interesting for me to recognize like the different trends that pop up over the years. Like we were talking about earlier, it was the sleep. For a while, it was all about sleeping less. You don't need sleep when you're on a raw diet. And I'm glad that's died down, because sleep is like almost more important than diet. If you sleep is so incredibly important. So I'm glad that's kind of died down. But there's always some new things that pop up. Some people have like ideas. Another thing that really irritates me about the internet in general and print books and stuff is that we've got information that's been printed, that's been spoken about, that's been shared on blogs and articles and all kinds of stuff from like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago. And if somebody picks up something from 1940 and reads it and is like, this is truth today, so they start sharing it on social media, it becomes this new thing, even though it's old. But that thing could be misproven already. Like maybe we just it and whatever, right? Or like this special diet, whatever, it's been debunked already for 25 years, so it's really important to, if you hear a piece of information, to go check it out, because there's a lot of people on both sides that have their views and their opinions, and it can be strong and confident on both sides, but you got to zoom out and really take everything in with a grain of salt, because again, a lot of people are just parroting what someone else has said. And that creates this trend, and people catch on to it, or it becomes a secret, and you're like, oh, like, they've been hiding this from us for so long, and it becomes this like secret club that you have the answer, and now you feel like you have to share that with the world. And even though that information may be incorrect, you still feel like you're like, I have to share this. But it can be damaging people. So
right. And some people are just good at talking, marketing and sales, so let's not get trapped into that.
Yep. The more confident you are, the more your idea is sold, because you're so confident. You're like, this is it, and it's really challenging out there. It's always been, and it always will be. So yeah, it's just about trying to maneuver through that.
Yeah. So let's see. Have we covered also?
I see this one. Many people say we lose enzymes as we age. I have no idea if that's true. I'm always worried about not utilizing my food. Again, chew well. But yeah, we lose a lot as we age. We lose hormones, we lose enzymes, we lose all kinds of stuff. So it's really about supporting your body the best you can. And, I want to say, like, accepting your body as it is and really nourishing it and helping it and supporting it, and not expecting perfection, because I think that that's such a huge problem in our world today, is that we're always striving for perfection instead of progress or support, right? We're like, oh, well, if it's not perfect, then it's not working. And, and then you get into the state where it's just not helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And Apple says critical thinking skills are getting very lax on the internet. And this is true. And especially with AI, oh my gosh, the incredible believability of AI right now is scary. Like, I've seen videos of people, like famous people, doing stuff, and you can't tell. So it's really scary, because people using AI can actually put words into other people's mouths.
Yeah.
Said or did, or they can put them in a situation that they never would be in. It's probably going to be pretty dangerous, but you've got all of these accounts promoting things that might not be ideal for us, and it's just AI. And people send me stuff that's AI too, like friends or whatever. They'll send me a cute cat clip or something, and I can clearly see it's AI, but they're like, "This is so cute. I can't believe cats do that." And I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't believe AI is so believable today. Like it's getting really hard to tell. So we have to be really diligent, not just with the health information that we're getting, but with what we're seeing. Like we can't believe our own eyes now. Like, if we
Mm.
can't believe the information that we're being given on all fronts for health, and now we're dealing with AI, it's like we really have to be diligent with any information that comes our way. Like I said, including this podcast, like any information that you get, you have to research on your own end
Yeah.
and, solidify that. And if it resonates with you, go with it, because it's ultimately your life, right? So,
Yeah, this scam is getting so sophisticated now. So
mm,
yeah, let's focus on the, you know, connection with the real people, um, the real connection. Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
So it's been over an hour. I just want to
Okay.
make sure.
Or
Yes.
we can keep like go through the last few one, like why communication is more essential in midlife. I'd like to share really quick on that. Communication is essential because we are not taught how to deal with our emotions and our hormonal changes in midlife.
Mhm.
So having these conversations are so important, and to convey that with our partner and have our partners also be open to listening and to understanding the biology of what's going on in the body. So like, when you are feeling irritated or sad or stressed or whatever it is, if your partner can understand that it can have a biological grounding as to
Mhm.
why you might be feeling extra irritable or extra stressed or what have you, and maybe they can come at it with a little bit more support, and vice versa, obviously.
Yeah, it's
Like, those go,
so huge.
yeah.
It's so huge. Like, we've been together, my husband and I, we've been together for 10 years. And, we still communicate. And, you know, we go through a different thing. And it helps so much when we communicate. When I'm irritated, right? Or when he's irritated, we tend to think that, oh, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? What can I do? And yeah, like sleep. If I didn't sleep well, I'm like not as happy or excited as I am. And I tell my husband, I just say, oh, I didn't sleep well. And it just helps to not take it personally. It's just a little thing, but it just accumulates. And,
Mhm.
it's it's so important, just communicating the little thing every day.
Mhm.
Just,
Exactly. I
yeah.
agree. I agree, because I know a lot of husbands probably feel like, oh, she's mad at me, or oh, I did something wrong, and then they get into their own heads about all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But it's like when you realize that it's like, no, maybe she didn't sleep properly, and maybe she's really
Mhm.
frustrated with her hot flashes, or maybe loud sounds can get like you can be very sensitive during perimenopause and menopause with sound
Mhm.
alone. So loud sounds can sometimes be a little bit too much for some people, and just communicating, being like, like, that's a little bit too loud for me right now. Could you turn it down
Mhm.
a little bit or whatever? Like, these kinds of communications can really help, and it's nothing to do with what the other person did. It's just you are reacting to things a little differently. And a lot of husbands will probably be like, well, you're not the same as you were.
Mhm.
And I think husbands need to realize that this is a change, that they are there for you. They want to be
Mhm.
there for you. But yes, you're not going to be the same person you were when you were 25,
Yeah.
right? Or however old, right? Before perimenopause. You're not going to be the
Mhm.
same person. So it's about shifting together and
Mhm.
learning about perimenopause together. And I love that there's some pages on Instagram that are men who are talking to other men about how to support their wives.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll send you a one that Nate and I found. He has some really good content. But yeah, there's some really cool people out there who are trying to help educate on both sides of the fence. So
yes.
men.
Yes, send it to me and I'll share it on the YouTube description.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it just help us each other, and it just makes it a little more fun and exciting as a long-term, long relationship, right? To
Mhm.
help each other. And again, like going back to what you mentioned about how divorce happens so much during this perimenopause time, and it might be happening at menopause, but that task, the stress that they've gone through during the perimenopause, it's adding to marriage. And unfortunately, a lot of women uh, is the couple, they regret that they didn't communicate enough, or they didn't understand that they were just going through this hormonal change.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah. So it's all about supporting yourself through it, supporting with your partner through it, and discovering these little things that you can do to help yourself through, because it is a challenging time for many people. Again, some people might breeze through it and that's cool, but a lot of people don't, and it's very challenging for many people. So finding ways that you can support yourself through it are going to be really, really important, to have a stronger relationship as well.
Mhm.
And like when you're irritated or stressed out, you're not really in the mood to be intimate, right? And
Mhm.
women need to feel safe,
Yeah.
need to feel heard, they need to feel comfortable in order to be intimate,
Mhm.
right? They need to be calm, and they need to know that they're chosen and they're protected and their heart is safe, and they're more likely to be more intimate. And the man wants the intimacy to feel loved. But if he's not getting it because she's stressed out, it's like, both have to come together in some way, right? The man has to come and understand the woman, and then the woman can feel comfortable to give the man a little more intimacy and stuff. It's a really delicate balance, but when
Yeah.
you find it, it can be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to share something. My one of my close friend, she's been married for a long period of time, and I wasn't with my husband at that time, and she mentioned that, we still like to be intimate, and she said that I feel like having intimate relationship with my husband when he helps me on house chores. So,
Mm.
man, listen to this. It's not something what you guys think. Not, not buying a rose. That's romantic. Not taking her to a dinner. That's not what many, long-term marriage women wants. When yes, it's nice, it's exciting, but they feel more relaxed and safe when their house is in order. So that was interesting, and I understand what she meant.
Right. Yeah. I know when you feel safe and, special and cared for and supported and provided for and all those other things in many different ways, like every man's going to be able to provide in a different way. But when he provides you that safety, like when we were talking about that woman, Teal Swan, who shares about the
Yeah.
containment, protecting and stuff like that. When a woman feels that way, it's so much better than when she's like constantly like, like stress just like ruins everything.
Yeah, true.
So yeah. Yeah, I love it. Rocky says housework is the most romantic thing that can be done. Nate does a lot of housework, so it's really good.
That's why you feel so safe and
It's one of the many things that he does that I love so much. But yeah,
oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you, Kiko.
Okay, you're welcome. So have we have covered all the points
I
that we
think we
wanted to?
have in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that covered. Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your knowledge. I always love to talk to you. You're not only you're a passionate person, and you're very knowledgeable, and you're compassionate at the same time. And I feel so honored to be connected with you, and use my platform to be able to share with the world. Um, and Yeah, again, perimenopause uh, and healthy marriage, we have so much to work on, but it's so worth it.
Yes, it is so worth it. Yeah, not only for the marriage, but for yourself too, right? Like, yeah, super, super important. And yeah, we could even go into detail on like muscle growth and weight training
So yeah,
and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we could
the
do a
next topic.
next
Yes.
topic. Yep. Keeping your body strong through this time. That might be a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Apple and Rocky Rights and Friends, for your messages. That really was fantastic week. And thank you, Lisa, for keeping in track of all the messages.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I hope to come back again with Lisa on healthy marriage, and thank you again.
Yes. Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Thank you. Okay, so any last words? Thank you.
Yeah, just like really dig down and ask yourself, what can I do to support my body today? Yeah, Nate's like fruit on. I love it. But yeah, just really dig down deep and question everything and really find what works for you, because your body is going to be different. We grow up with different beliefs. We grow up in different areas, different climates, different environments, different belief systems. Like, there's all kinds of things that can play into how we experience perimenopause and how we show up in our marriages. So, those are really important things. You got to really ask yourself some deep questions. But yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, and we'll be back.
We will be
Yes,
back.
we
Yes.
will be back. Yes, and thank you, and yep, see you soon.